Karibu Mdosi. Sasa bro, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, karibu sana. Good to see you. Pole.
Asante.
Traffic mbaya tutasort.
Thank you very much.
Senator Sakaja, why are you late?
Well, my opponent is used to head starts, and so I wanted to give him an opportunity, and we're here.
So I know we said at the beginning that it was a 90-minute duel between the two. Actually, it wasn't a 90-minute duel between the two because he was late by a full, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
So it was 70 minutes between the two, and the first 20 minutes of just Polycarp Igathe speaking before Sakaja finally joined. So yes, you
Gashuri and Lina.
Oh, Gashuri and Lina were the first witnesses to that. Yeah. So maybe I should start with you, Gashuri. Or do you cede the floor to senior Kai Kai?
Let LK go first.
Yeah, go first. So this was, you know, a duel of sorts for even though one came late.
Yes, one
How
came
did it
late,
go?
and yes, and I think the first thing really that should be done is a shout out to the media industry for getting together to do this.
That was the first debate,
Yes, it was a fantastic show in terms of the production, in terms of the team that got together to do this. And we've been going there. It's a massive operation, and we'll do this until the 26th of July when we do the presidential debate itself. And back to the Igathe and Sakaja duel. We had some moments of anxiety about participation of Johnson Sakaja. We kept hearing that he's on his way. At some point he was at the KWS, at some point near Karen Hospital. And if you know the geography of that area very well, those are two different directions. There's no way, however named you are, that you can come from two different directions.
But in true Kenyan fashion, it was naenda hivi na kam. Maybe.
Very true. And we have been left, we were left to speculate what is going on. And I think this is really what was going on. UDA and the Kenya Kwanza has been complaining a lot about the media, playing victim about the coverage of the media, you're not fair and all that. I believe what was going on was a fight between the moderates and the extremists in the behind the scenes. Should you go? No, don't go. You go, don't go. And I think sense prevailed, proper sense prevailed. And he did turn up 20 minutes into the debate. There was even talk of trying to get us to delay the debate, and we don't do that. I mean, the clock runs at exactly the hour that the appointed hour, and that's what we did. We started the clock and started the debate with Igathe.
Yeah.
And look at the first thing that happens. There is cordiality between the two.
Yeah.
Not forgetting the late arrival. There's cordiality between the two. They greet each other well. You do not see the kind of hostility that you see out here until, of course, the debate starts and it becomes a bare knuckles event. But here is one thing that should be pointed out. The move by Johnson Sakaja not to apologize is really something that should be found deplorable. You may have feelings about the media and all that, but this moment was not really the media's. We just put those cameras in front there, and the main client of the night is the voter of Nairobi, is the Kenyan who is watching the debate there. It's their time, not ours. For us, we can run those cameras overnight and stay there. It's part of our duty. You don't have to apologize for us being there. We would have been there even if you had not turned up. But for the Kenyan who was sitting, the city resident who was sitting at home, and you turn up and say, no, why are you late? No, I just wanted to give Igathe the head start. It's arrogant, it's insensitive, it's very disrespectful of the voter, and that was one miss by Johnson Sakaja. Because as I said time to the rest of the gang, I think he had a very good night. Except for the failure to apologize. Because lack of apology, if you don't apologize, it paints you in bad light. It's about character. It's about... look, it reminded me of some COVID-19 restrictions evening, I think there was an apology that that followed. I think he needed to have remembered that and say,
"That's right.
Sorry, I'm late, but I'm here.
I'm here now, yeah, and let's get on with it."
And he had a good night, Yvonne.
Yeah.
As Linus has said, even after that, because really there were uppercuts and punches that were there on that set, and there were complaints, of course, afterwards that they took a lot more time in trying to outdo each other in terms of but not really talking about the issues to do with Nairobi. Those came almost at the tail end of the interview, but then issues to do with integrity on Sakaja's side, and issues to do with the fact that Igathe gave up too soon when he was deputy governor and he was unable to stand the heat, actually came up. And I think we need to listen to the sound bites. Let's listen to Igathe talking about false documents and integrity, and then Sakaja saying if you cannot stand the heat of deputy governor, you cannot handle the governor position. Let's listen to those two.
Traffic mbaya tutasort.
Thank you very much.
Senator Sakaja, why are you late?
Well, my opponent is used to head starts, and so I wanted to give him an opportunity. And if you cannot withstand the heat of a deputy governor, you can't run Nairobi City County. You have 85 MCAs, possibly 40 nominated, 125 MCAs. You have 17 constituencies. If just one Mike Sonko made you run, tomorrow matatus will strike. The next day, hawkers will be on the street. The next day, and you're trying to run this county by being popular, it will not work.
You see, that's what they spoke about now, talking about when Igathe was the deputy governor, and as you said, he resigned a few months later, saying he's unable to work with the governor. But let's listen to what Igathe said about false documents and integrity, because that's a big issue that, that came up.
Is uttering false documents and then standing here and saying I have integrity. Go and check what Senator Sakaja cited as his degree in 2017. It's a public document. And then look at the degree he's saying it is today. We don't even know who he is. Is your name really Sakaja? Nairobi. Careful. All of us, careful.
Is your name really Gashuri?
Yes, it is.
Are you sure?
It was a kid, that was very interesting to watch. Yeah, the back and forth, the punches and here and there. But I think one thing that came through for me, Yvonne, as I cede time to Gashuri, is the fact that Sakaja does understand Nairobi very well in terms of the issues. Of course, he's been senator for 5 years. He understands issues. He had figures and facts. And we did our own fact check. And largely what he said was actually pretty accurate. And that really is what, in my opinion, made him come out slightly higher in terms of how he performed in this debate as compared to Igathe. But of course, again, what I said, the issues to do with the two of them, integrity. You did this, you don't have a certificate, you have it, you gave up too soon, you're unable to stand the heat, how are you going to be able to run the governor? Actually overshadowed the issues that we wanted to hear, which is Nairobi, mtatufanyia nini?
Yeah, however, that is important also in its own right. Candidates in a debate such as this are supposed to, poke holes in the fitness and competency of their rivals. And those were some fair issues. I mean, I think nobody who's heard of Polycarp Igathe's intention to run hasn't questioned, what happened at the Nairobi County. In fact, I've heard many that have questioned, also his moving around in the corporate sector, which for some say, that's a good thing, but others will say, okay, maybe, there's an issue there in terms of, staying and growing roots in one role and seeing it, to the end. And of course, those were issues that would certainly have come up and that were important. But like you did say, by most accounts, people then did say when they finally got into the issues that there was some discussion, over issues like access to water for Nairobians, the issue of NMS and the role that it is playing in service delivery, and Nairobi being, an important county, no more important than all the other 46, but certainly one that plays, a central role in governance in this country and politically as well. So those were some of the issues that went forward. I'd like us, before we come to you, Gashuri, in a moment, to just listen to the matter of the issue of NMS, which has been a big issue. I mean, we had a rather curious arrangement where, we were ceding some of the roles of the county government to another entity known as the NMS, which, by the way, goes on until, what, November?
Yes.
Yeah, they had their term extended. Let's listen to what Igathe had to say, or both of them, rather, on the issue of NMS.
They've really tried to improve the environment, and they are it is part of the military to do civilian duty, and they came and answered the call of duty, and we truly celebrate what they have been able to achieve.
It is very interesting to hear a man praising his ex-wife's husband. The reason NMS came about is because Igathe quit. It's as simple as that. If the deputy governor of Nairobi, Igathe, did not quit, there'd be no need to have NMS. Those boreholes you're naming, you should have done them. Those interventions you're talking about, you had a chance to do them.
Yeah, so for what it's worth, look, this was enjoyable at some level. There was no name calling.
Yeah.
There was, all of those epithets that we're used to and slurs that we're used to. I mean, this was, two gentlemen going at it on a number of issues, Francis.
Absolutely.
Including this one of the NMS that has been, quite a big one.
Oh, yes. In fact, if I was in a position of making a decision, I would have probably looked for a rematch between the two. It was excellent TV on Monday night. Yeah. And my colleague Mariah likes telling me, when mechi imeshika, wacha referee uwanja itembee, mechi zitembe, tacos itembee. And you could see the tacos were very interesting. Yeah. But one thing, away from the degree question, away from the desertion of duty and everything else, I would think we now have a contest that you'd say is fair. You have two quality candidates in the Nairobi gubernatorial race. One, people who understand Nairobi and the importance of Nairobi and the importance of quality leadership in Nairobi. I think those two candidates gave us a glimpse of that either way, whoever gets the seat, you can be sure that you will entrust the city county to either of them who understands Nairobi very well. So I would say there was quality in terms of the debate. And actually it lived up to the expectation of what a debate of this caliber ought to be. But the reason why I would probably have wanted a rematch is because there are some certain issues that needed to come clearly. Service delivery. Because one of the biggest problems of Nairobi is how services are delivered, how services are rendered. Remember, Nairobi County is the biggest recipient of the devolved funds every financial year. So you would need somebody who can come and explain, this is what we will do with the resources that are allocated to the Nairobi County government every financial year. Secondly, you will need somebody who can come and explain clearly and with a lot of conviction that this is how we are going to raise revenue. Because truth be told, a lot of resources that are raised by Nairobi County end up in the wrong places, in the pockets of a few. People call them cartels, people call them brokers, people call them every other name. But I think the correct name to use is pure theft, because these are resources that are generated and are meant to deliver and render services to Nairobians. And remember, Nairobi is not any other county. Actually, almost every other thing that happens in the country revolves around Nairobi County. So if you have quality leadership in Nairobi, you will end up with quality leadership per se, and as a very good example to other counties. If you have poor leadership in Nairobi, it is likely to be replicated elsewhere for one reason or the other. So I think it's a fair contest, and people of Nairobi have now an opportunity to look at the two candidates and make a choice between them, but also not forgetting there are other candidates in the race. There are other candidates in the race. Yeah. And we saw dashes of brilliance in the first round of the debate. Yeah. So, I mean, we now have a better understanding of who the candidates are and what they stand for, and the race is now clear. Unlike previous elections in Nairobi where the choices are not very good. We now have better options.
And there were choices, Linus, because, there was two sets of debates Monday night.
Two sets of debates that indeed acquitted our decision as the media to create a two-tier debate where candidates that have below 5% in the aggregate of opinion polls will be pulled together, and those who have above 5% in opinion polls are then put together. You can tell the quality of the two debates were completely worlds apart, and that is that was the verdict of the panelists. We remember we had a panel that went through the debate, discussed
pre and post.
Pre and post, and they came to the conclusion that look, the quality is completely different, and. Here is why it was such a big thing and good thing for Nairobi. The top two, the front runners, went head to head on the different issues that separated them. They didn't do a lot of that, though. I think they spent a lot of time also throwing jabs and barbs at each other. And that's normally not very, very helpful because the issues then become clouded.
Yeah.
We finished the debate and you are not sure what they said about, for example, fixing the water problem in Nairobi, the infrastructure question, the garbage issue, even the traffic issue that Igathe
promised to sort out.
Promised to sort out.
Yeah.
They didn't do a lot of that. And I would understand where both candidates were coming from. Heavy political pressure on both
either
of them,
side,
considering that one is a candidate of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition of Raila Odinga, and the other one, the Kenya Kwanza and UDA of Deputy President William Ruto. That sheer pressure on the two will run a campaign. Though they are running for governor of Nairobi, there'll be national sort of implications in their campaigns. William Ruto and Raila Odinga are interested parties in who becomes the governor of Nairobi. Uhuru Kenyatta, the president who is going out, is also an interested party in who becomes the governor of Nairobi, which is why there was a lot of weight on the shoulders of these two, and they spent a lot of time trying to outdo each other on barbs, basically throwing jabs at each other. There's something else that came out: the difference between a corporate player and a political player. Polycarp Igathe comes from a heavy corporate background. And the political experience of Johnson Sakaja came through in his favor. He was very sharp, he was very quick, very good with aims and going to the holster and getting both guns blazing. And Igathe was caught slightly slow in coming back. Igathe also, in my view, played Johnson Sakaja's game, and you don't play other people's games unless you know how that will play. Will play.
Keep your strategy.
Keep your strategy. I had expected that, for example, Igathe will stand there and demonstrate how different he is from Johnson Sakaja, and demonstrate to Nairobians how a corporate
use that to his advantage.
Use it to its advantage. Don't play the political game. Sakaja has been there for many years. And there's something else: political players have an advantage over corporate players. And that is the ease with which they interact with inaccuracies. They don't have a problem saying something that is inaccurate. And Sakaja was caught at least twice saying things that did not quite add up. For example, saying that he's brought the most bills in Parliament. The actual fact check shows that it's actually Sylvia Kasanga who is way ahead when it comes to who brings who brought many bills to the Senate. He interacts easily with us, and that is what politics does to you. Now, with the corporate guy, you hold numbers. Do you have the facts right? And that actually proved a bit slow in terms of the debate for Polycarp Igathe. But there's one thing we should give credit to both gentlemen. Look at the end of that debate and how they interacted. There were hugs, they were laughing about things, and they had a chit-chat after that. A complete contrast to what the mindset of a regular political competitor in Azimio versus Kenya Kwanza, UDA versus Jubilee would have imagined. You know, you'd think, you know, after this debate they'll remove their shirts and
punch each other.
And punch each other. Which is something that, again, goes credit to the media and the Presidential Debate Secretariat that organized these debates. Debates promote civility.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of civility.
An exchange of ideas.
Exchange of ideas.
Yeah.
Think with your head, not your hands.
Okay.
Yeah, and you are alone there, with the microphone and camera. It's beautiful.
It is. But what was I honest?
Maybe next time we should have supporters debate. Where you have supporters of one politician and supporters of another politician to have a debate.
Well, there was one in Meru yesterday.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
And that didn't go well.
The unfortunate thing is, and this is how sometimes I see the other side of politics that is not very good. The people that you fight for are not necessarily enemies. Actually, they hug each other, they spend time together. For them, it's a sport.
They're just on opposite sides of a particular issue.
And in any case, by they remember, Sakaja and Igathe were in the same political team in 2017.
That's right,
when Sakaja was vying for Senate seat on a Jubilee ticket, and Igathe was a running mate of a gubernatorial ticket on a Jubilee ticket. So they were in one team. These are people who know each other very well. It would be surprising that their supporters can take it very personal, yet the people they're taking personal for are friends. That is the unfortunate thing about politics.
You know, you go to supporters and forget there's a little middle troublesome category called handlers. Some of them call themselves communication advisors. And some of them are extreme. They're extremists. They would be, for lack of a better word, terrorists in their kind of reasoning. Why would you want to stop a debate? Look at how well Sakaja did in this debate. That is not what that category expected. They are busy on the social media, insulting the media, casting aspersions on moderators, casting aspersions on the entire debate process, or you are one-sided and all that. And that is the category that is currently hurting Kenyan politics. That is the group that is currently delaying maturity of our democracy because they reason like terrorists. They reason like extremists. They don't reason like big picture people. You know, why would you want to stop Sakaja from debating Polycarp Igathe? And I know the reasoning was, this media will just go and ask you about your degree. How long did the degree question take? And didn't Sakaja acquit himself on the question? Trust the brain of your candidate, even when you're a handler. Trust that they are actually sharp, and that's why they're the candidate and you're not.
Absolutely. And prepare them for this thing. Why not? Prepare.
Yeah,
you know, you're
absolutely.
going for a debate. Prepare.
And indeed, if they do win, you know, they will be handling all of those issues in greater detail every day. So all's well that ended well on Monday night during the debate, but right after that, it was back to the same old. And we saw President Uhuru Kenyatta coming back on the campaign trail. I'd like us to listen to him in Ruai campaigning for Raila Odinga, if we can listen to that and then just get into it.
Na nawaomba nyinyi kwa heshima ya yule ambaye nitapatia aendelee naye iwe si mwingine isipokuwa Raila Amolo. Asante sana. Badala ya kuja kutusaidia, kazi yake ni kupiga mdomo, na yeye mwenyewe yako ndani ya serikali. Hawezi kuja kukuambia anajaribu kusema ukiona barabara ni yeye, ukiona njaa ni mwingine. Kwani serikali ni mbili?
All right, before we carry on with the discussion, let's just also listen to him, because that wasn't the first, but that wasn't the last time, at least in this past week. He was also at it again in Samburu. Let's listen to that and then we can come back and talk about it.
Na mimi nataka niwachie hata hii kiti niko naye. Niwachie huyu mzee anaitwa Raila, na yeye pia asukume aendelee naye. Tunasema kama tosha. Kama msemaji, kama tosha. Kama tosha. Tutakwenda pamoja, tuendelee maendeleo, tusukume nchi yetu mbele, tuweke amani, tujumuishe Wakenya.
So, President is, you know, now back in the campaign trail. He's been busy the last couple of weeks, I think, with, you know, official business inside and out of the country. So, with 25 days to go now, less than a month.
Yeah, I think we'll keep seeing him on and off this period that is remaining. he will keep coming out to support his preferred successor, that is Raila Odinga, the Azimio presidential candidate. Now, the fundamental question is, what would be President Uhuru Kenyatta's role and influence in the election of his successor? Is it an advantage to Raila's campaigns? Is it a disadvantage to Raila's campaigns? And how much can he push into Raila's basket as he exits the stage? Well, yes, there is a category of people that will listen to the president. There is also a category that will not listen to him. So it's a question of how much he can influence the votes in Odinga's direction. But also, it is important to take note of the circumstances under which he's going out to campaign.
Yeah.
It is not just, you know, a free kind of a function. He goes to perform a certain function, maybe issue titles,
yes,
launch a project, and so on and so forth.
But
and the rallying call is the person who will be able to continue with this is his preferred successor, who is Raila Odinga. So I think it is important to look at the context in which he's doing it. It's more of goodbye kind of a session for him. He goes to various parts of the country, launch a project here, issue title deeds there, and so on and so forth. But also at the same time, show the direction to his supporters and those who would listen to him on where he thinks the country is safer if they voted for Raila Odinga. But on the other hand, you will keep seeing rebuttals from the deputy president and his team. Every time the president has gone out there in a function and campaigned for Raila, they will, as it were, have responses to him, you know, and try to sell the narrative that the president is campaigning for Raila because it's his project and so on and so forth. You will keep hearing a lot of that. So it's a question of how much he can campaign for him, how much he can respond to the questions that are coming up insofar as that project tag is concerned. But I've seen quite often, even Raila himself has responded to that project tag. So it's a whole question of how much he can be able to contribute to that basket with 25 days to the general election, and whether he is benefiting or hurting.
Or hurting the campaign. I just want us to, because we've got little time, and talk about something else that happened on the campaign trail. So there's been a spat between Deputy President William Ruto and Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa over, you know, and it follows from the issue of the slap before, and there was no allegation of another slap and you know, an exchange between the two. Can we listen to DP Ruto and Wamalwa, CS Wamalwa, and that spat, and you know how that led to then talk of anger issues? But let's listen to that, because I think that's the genesis of this whole question of anger on the campaign trail.
Ati mimi sijui nilikuwa nataka kumchapa kofi. Hey, mimi nataka nimwambie hawa jamaa. Anaongea. Unajua una big sister. Huku kwetu hatuchapi kofi wanawake. Ndio. Mumujibu hivyo, mwambie hivyo.
Amenitusi sana. Na leo nataka nimwambie William Ruto ya kwamba Michelle Obama once said, when they go low, you go high. When they go low, we go high. Today, William Ruto, you have stooped the lowest you have in your public life. What you say today, now, the insults against Eugene Wamalwa was quite unprecedented. Very unprecedented. Na hii nataka nikuombe kwa heshima sana na kuheshimu. Mimi sijawahi kutusi. Mimi nikisema ukweli, labda kuna yale yamefanyika kwa cabinet. Sababu ya kiapo tulichonacho, we don't say everything that happened. Lakini nikisema ukweli ya kwamba William Ruto ulitaka kunifuta kazi 2018, it is the truth. Ya kwamba ulikuwa na hasira hata ukataka kunichapa kofi, it is the truth. It's not an insult. Ya kwamba ulitaka kuchapa Matiang'i kofi, it is the truth. We have witnesses. Sababu, it is about your character and what happened. Na hawanzi leo, anger management is an issue that you have.
And in response to the issue of anger management, Deputy President William Ruto explained the makasiriko. Let's listen.
Sababu mmekosa agenda. Mnaongea juu ya hasira ya Ruto. Mimi nataka niwaambie, wacha hasira ya Ruto. Hasira ya Ruto ni kidogo. Hasira yenye iko na hawa wananchi
ambao wamelala njaa, ambao wamepandishiwa chakula, bei ya chakula, tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8, mtashangaa ile hasira wa Kenya watapiga kura nayo kusukuma nyinyi mkwende nyumbani kabisa.
Linus.
Yeah, it's very interesting that in the last few days the campaign has taken this route. The rhetoric out there is base. The language is not impressive. The language is, and even the quality of the discourse has really dropped. And it started with the tape about a slap.
Mm. Yeah,
and then it has really
degenerated
and sunk low. And here is one thing that the Azimio side has managed to do. It has managed to push Deputy President William Ruto character to discussion. That his anger, for example, you saw Kalonzo Musyoka today adding that, I was there when
Ruben Chesire.
When Ruben Chesire was allegedly slapped by Deputy President William Ruto, who then went on to replace him as a member of parliament for Eldoret North. It's not a good space for a candidate to be when your character now is being discussed. All this analysis, and remember, it started with even before the tape, Martha Karua was already saying DP Ruto is an angry man. And today he pushed back and said, it's not me that is angry, it's the people of Kenya that are angry. But is that convincing?
Or if I'm angry, this is why, just like many other Kenyans, it's about,
But when you talk of it's the people of Kenya being angry. You saw the little interaction yesterday with, I think, a heckler.
I think we have that. We can listen to it, yeah.
Unanijibu kama nani? Kama umeleta kisirani kwa hiyo mkutano utoke. Hauwezi kuja hapa na kuharibu mkutano. Please, tuheshimiane. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Sisi tunawaheshimu hawa viongozi wote. Tunaheshimu Daktari Ayodi, tunaheshimu ndugu yetu Sloya. Lakini hauwezi kuja hapa kuleta vurugu kwa mkutano. Tunaelewana?
There was a moment like this some time back in Nyandarua, I think, when Maina Njenga brought his supporters to the DP's rally, and again he went to the microphone and said, if you want your own meeting, call for your own meeting. And here is a nightmare for not just the DP but Kenyan politicians, because heckling apparently tends to be the ugly side of the campaign.
And it's local politics that sort of plays out when the national
Sometimes it's local and sometimes it's targeted, planted to annoy. Yeah. And here is what the DP is getting wrong. He's allowing them to draw him to it. And I want to draw an example, for example, of Martha Karua. When she was first named, running mate, she made a trip to Kirinyaga, which was not easy. It was a very rough ride back home to a region that is hostile. It's more pro-Ruto than it is pro-Raila. And I think there was a lot of that kind of heckling wherever she goes, and there is heckling. What did she do? She told protesters, I'll give you the microphone. You tell me what you... come and explain to me, and the heckling died down after some time, because you have to know that in a situation where there is a heckler and a politician, the politician is likely to lose. There is only one loser, basically. We haven't seen the face of that person that he was asking unanijibu kama nani, and look at what this does. You say something like unanijibu kama nani, and it becomes a point of analysis. What is the meaning of unanijibu kama nani? If you've been running a campaign all the time saying this is about hustlers, one would have expected these are equals then, you're going to interact with a fellow hustler in a rally. When you say unanijibu kama nani, it suggests hierarchy. I'm greater than you, I'm bigger than you. Who are you? Who do you, it's that question in English that says, who are you? It never means literally that. Yeah. It actually suggesting class, suggesting hierarchy. But I think the mistake the DP has made for the last few days is to allow himself to be drawn into this space where his temperament is tested, whether by fellow political competitors or by a heckler, random heckler like I would want to call that gentleman who said something that we don't have that side of the tape. Basically, he's been drawn into that, and he doesn't come out looking nice. He's giving fodder to his opponents to keep talking and saying he's got an anger management issue, he's an angry person, and you respond to that by saying, yeah, I'm angry, but Kenyans are even more angry. The earlier this conversation ended, the earlier this debate about the DP's temperament ended, the better for him.
Yvonne, politics is a high-pressure game, and especially when you have a high-stakes game or contest like the presidential race that we are facing in this election. So you're likely to see scenarios where the leading presidential candidates will be provoked in one way or another for certain reasons. And it is important to maintain your cool because whatever you say may or will be interpreted to suit a political narrative in one way or another, be it Raila, be it Ruto, be it Wajakoya, be it Mwaure Wahiga, because those are the presidential candidates.
Yeah.
So temperament is an important aspect in a political competition like this one, and especially with 25 days now to go, 24 tomorrow, you have to make as many gains as you can, and you have to avoid as many mistakes as you can, because it is possible to work so hard for votes and then make one remark or two remarks, be it in a rally, be it in a certain situation, that may end up, chipping a bit of what you have gained. So this is a high-stakes game, and so temperament will be very, very critical for the presidential candidates. And even not just the presidential candidates, even at the local level. We've seen governor candidates, parliamentary candidates who have ended up messing up their campaigns at the very, very home stretch. I don't know whether, Linus, there's a Maasai proverb like there is in some other places that it is very easy for a calabash to break at the doorstep.
Very true.
Is there...
And your command of the Maasai literature is very good.
Please blame Leto for it.
Well, I mean, I think that's a great place to leave it. And that's great. And so, Jamila?
It's you. Leo, siku nyingi hujafunga hii kitu.
Yeah, let's do this.
Piga hii kitu.